So basically, you showed them that, yeah, this is something you really want to do. You convinced them, yeah, that you could actually follow your passion and live a life. And not
Definitely.
just for money, it gives you happiness and satisfaction in life as well.
Definitely. Definitely.
Just tell me one thing.
Yeah.
If your younger Shivi is standing in front of you,
Yeah.
maybe 14-year-old, 15-year-old, or just starting with college, what would you suggest her?
Um, I think the one thing that I would suggest myself, there are two things. Also, while I answer, I'm going to give a lot of pointers.
Sure.
Always answer in pointers. So there are two things. One thing is, in a bigger sense, if you ask me, I honestly don't regret anything, and I honestly wouldn't suggest anything because I feel the person I am today is because of all the events I got through. Even if I realized it way later in my life that there were some things that I should have addressed way before. But I know for a fact that the person who has inculcated few qualities today is because of those things that happened in past. But if you would ask me about any suggestion to give my younger self, it would be even to my present self, it would be to stop overthinking. We think and ponder a lot over a lot of things and we just don't do it, or we just don't, because we have overjudged ourselves in so many ways, and we have judged ourselves in all the negative possible outcomes. If whatever you want to do or whatever your gut feeling is, we have already thought of all the possible negative outcomes that can come from that action, and then we don't do it. And that's one of
Correct.
the things that I did it. That's one of the things that stopped me to do a lot of things back in college. And now, because I've learned that, I will in future regret it, the only question that I ask myself, and the only question you can ask yourself when you're going for the thing that you love, and you are in this constant struggle, that should you do it or should you not do it? Always there's this one question that I used to ask myself was, will I regret this 1 year down the line if I don't do it? And I
Correct.
always keep my answer clear. So that's one question, that's one thing that I would tell myself, to not overthink things. Because you are just 14 or 15, or you're just 18 years or 20 years old. Even at this point, I would say I'm just 22. I shouldn't overthink about little things in my life. Yeah.
Correct. Correct. So it's a learning process that keeps going on over the years. You mentioned in your last answer that you had an experience that, gave you a lot of learnings in life. Do you want to share it with us
Yeah,
over here?
definitely.
Yeah.
I really want to. So this was back in my school days. So in my school life from 9 to 12th, I have lead actually actually from 8 to 12th, I have always been like an athlete. So
Okay.
I've jumped from sport to sport, but the one sport that got me stuck with, like, that was my rock for temporary basis, was badminton. And that's something I left to pursue my economics degree. So during that time in my school days, there was this. So I basically got through an incident with a person who was sort of close to our family, and I used to look that man. I used to look up to him, that
Okay.
person. And basically after a certain period of point, I got in an incident where it all started with verbal abusing. So
Okay.
that specific person, I'm not taking names in
Sure,
this,
sure.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that person started with verbal abusing, and that transitioned into the second year, which was when I was in my 12th grade. And that started into a physical abuse. So for 2 entire years, this man was in the close community of my people. And I used to look up to him. And but in those 2 years, that was like something I have lived in denial of. Like, I've lived in denial of, and that was something which really put me down further in my college, because those issues that I didn't address back then came running towards me like a ball in my second year, which actually put me down really low, because at that time, not only did I have a little bit of self-esteem and self-image, body issues, but even that, that load that I was carrying on my shoulders came in. came like a
Correct.
ball in second year. Yeah. So that was the incident that I was talking about that actually led me to my lowest point in my second year. And fitness was one thing that I turned towards during that time. Yeah. That was the incident.
So
Yeah.
how did you actually overcome it? You know, you had a battle in yourself. This is
Definitely.
something that was going in your mind and with yourself.
Yeah.
How did fitness or, you know, your niche helped you to overcome it basically, that you are here and talking about it right now?
So that's a really good question. That's actually a really good question because I know for a fact, it's really funny, but when I went to college, the reason that I got a little bit okay was because I saw so many women has gone through the same thing. And I
Yeah,
was shocked. I was shocked because I was like, how is every second woman telling me about their sexual harassment stories so normally? It's like it's normalized in their life. Eve
correct.
teasing, sexual harassment from a person you trust, normalized in our society. So that's a very good question to ask, actually. My, I think how I overcame, and yeah, sorry, I was saying, so this few of the qualities that I've seen common in every woman that goes through is self-doubt, self-negative talk, and that self-negative talk can manifest in a lot of ways. Maybe you're trying to do something and you are putting yourself down. Maybe you're trying to exercise and you're putting yourself down by saying that, I can't do it. Like, I'm fat. How do I look? I don't want to go. I don't want to wear that. I don't want to wear this. And these small sentence makes a lot of difference. And a little bit of being very, I would say, I would just say like negative in general about your own personality.
As you
So
said, like
the one thing,
overthinking all over the time. Yeah.
exactly. So I think the one thing that really helped me was to understand. Should I just carry you with the whole story? I think
Yeah,
that will
yeah,
give
sure,
you the
sure.
context of, yeah. So basically, when all of that stuff in my school life happened, and when I shifted to when I shifted to Delhi for my college, in my
Yeah.
second year, I was completely low to a point where I didn't want to do anything. Like I knew there was a point where I used to open my book, had my exams going on, and 1 hour later I would be still on the same page and the same sentence. And I was wondering what's happening. I was not able to reconcile what's happening with me. I didn't want to study. I didn't want to do anything. It came to a point where I wanted to drop out from the college and just wanted to be at home because I didn't want to face anyone. I had stopped talking to all my friends.
Mm.
And at that time I came back to my home. I'd missed all of my college was still open. I still had my exams. I left all my exam. I came back to my home because I was not in that state mentally. And it came to that point where they had to and that mental thing also affected me physically. Even physically I wasn't well. So we had to meet a doctor, and that doctor gave me some medicines to get my appetite up because I was not eating. Then I was on this glucose, the drip. I was on a drip for 2 hours, and for 3 days I think I was sleeping for 18 hours straight. Like I was just sleeping. I used to wake up. I used to sleep again. And I was that tired, and I was not even doing any exercise back then. And one day after that glucose drip came on, after all the medicines came on, I remember waking up and I felt really fresh, extremely fresh. And I was tired of being sick in my body, like physically being
Correct.
sick.
Mm.
And the day I woke up feeling fresh, and the day I woke up like, I can actually do stuff, I can go down and walk and live. Basically, I felt alive. That day, I took a promise to myself, made a promise to myself that I won't do that to my body again. Like, I will take care of this body and I'm not gonna take it for granted. And that's when I also realized that mental and physical health is very correlated, extremely correlated. So it's extremely important. You can't isolate and work on just one thing and say, I'm just going to meditate and that's it. And I'll be mentally focused and healthy. You have to work on both the aspects to get a holistic result and to strive to get to a better version of yourself. that's when I turned towards fitness, because I also that was one thing that made me feel that whenever I saw some kind of a growth, I was really happy. That I'm working towards something. So the reason how I overcame it was by actually putting some action towards a problem. So my problem is here. I was in like deep low, and after getting into that deep low point, I one day woke up and I decided to do something about it. I took an action, and when I saw that little growth in myself, even if it was me sleeping on time or me eating whatever I wanted to eat, me making my food. So I saw myself having this self-care routine for myself, for my own body. And when I started seeing these growth, I realized that I have basically a healing process started for me.
Correct, correct.
And then I also started journaling. I hadn't read it anywhere that you should journal for your mental health. I just started journaling because I wanted an outlet. And I remember this. I actually spoke to my brother one day, and he told me, dude, if you are angry, just write it down. And you can burn the paper if you wanted. And I actually did that, and I felt
Correct.
really nice. And from that day onwards, whenever I used to feel like I'm going back into that hole again, because whenever one negative thought comes in, it's like a cycle that goes till
Correct,
you're
correct.
into that deep zone again. So it's very important for you to be very aware about that zone. It's very important for you to take care of it and take action to go on the opposite direction. So that's where fitness really helped me, and that's how I overcame it, by slowly starting my own self-care and healing process. Yeah.
So basically, what whole story you shared, it was a difficult time, and now you have overcome and become this successful, pretty humble, and such
Yeah.
a great person in life. I would like to ask, as you said that the person who basically treated you like that, and because of that person you went through this, was in your peer group, like your parents, your family, your friends, everyone, they knew
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
So just the thing that why didn't you come up, or weren't you feeling safe to share it to your parents or your brother or your friends? Like,
I get
you
it.
were keeping it inside you.
Yeah, that I think that's the
So,
biggest mistake I did. That's one of the biggest mistakes, that I kept it inside. And the reason that I wasn't at that time, when I think about it right now, when I look back and when I think about it in this perspective, in the new Shivi perspective, I think at that stage I was constantly blaming myself. So I was in this whole dilemma that maybe I am overthinking, maybe it's my fault,
correct.
maybe I'm just creating a fuss out of it. I think I should just keep quiet and not do anything. This was like one.
You were blaming yourself for it, basically.
Exactly, yeah. This was one thinking that I had. The other thinking was that my gut used to tell me that something's wrong is going on, like something I'm feeling uncomfortable. So my gut used to always be aware, like, okay, something's gonna happen. I shouldn't be in this environment. But there was also one other thing, that because my life was so extremely busy in the athlete life, I thought that, and I was like a big dreamer. Extreme. I still am a big dreamer, but at that time, like, I was a crazy dreamer to a point where I used to actually watch matches before I sleep. So that when you say that, oh, if in the subconscious mind you will be able to get all the
To think
shots.
about. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I was an extremely insane dreamer, and I thought bringing out this issue would disturb my normal life. And I was scared that, what will be the consequences. So I was constantly overthinking about the pros and cons at one stage. And on the other part, I was also thinking maybe I'm creating a big drama myself. Maybe it's nothing. So it was an environment where I was into my head. And it was like two conversations happening at the same time for 2 years. Yeah.
So, um, now that you have overcome it and getting over it, I wouldn't say that 100% you've overcome because you're
It's
still
always
thinking
a
about it.
process. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And your past is your past, but it is never gone. It stays with you and it builds you
definitely.
strong. So,
Definitely.
what would you suggest someone who is basically going through such kind of condition, or maybe is watching this live, or could hear something, some tips from you?
Yeah. I think that's also a wonderful question. Thank you for asking this. Um, the one thing I want to say to those people who have, I think, two categories. One who is, I think, going through it. my mother used to always, yeah, sorry, two categories: one who's going through it and one who is dealing with the aftermath of the situation.
Hmm.
My mom always, after I graduated and came back home, she used to tell me that, women have like sixth sense and they get to know whenever something wrong is happening. Whenever there's any environment where you're feeling uncomfortable, or whenever you feel that there's something wrong, intentions being spread in the environment, your gut will definitely tell you something. And I have realized that it does. It really does. Like whenever you feel that there's a crunch in your stomach, that's your gut telling
Hmm.
that this is something where it's like you're basically, your body goes into a fight and flight response suddenly. It's like you either, and
Correct.
the fight and flight response is basically you're like your anxiety is off the charts, and
Hmm.
you're basically, you are not in the calm state. It's the opposite of the being in a calm state. So whenever you are getting this feeling, this means that your body is telling you, giving you signals that you are not feeling comfortable in that environment. And whenever you do, get out of it. If you or the second option I would say is, you the one thing that I would tell myself back then would be to talk. Two words: talk and go with your gut. If I honestly feel, because I know that my parents and my closest friends, I know for a fact that if I would have even, you know, gave them a text that I think I'm feeling a little uncomfortable in this environment, I know
Correct.
for a fact that they would have left everything to come and to, get me and to make me feel safe. And I knew that now that I look back, I did a mistake by not saying this to anyone and by just keeping it to myself and overthinking. And that honestly stemmed from the fact that I was not very confident as a person. So I used to think that I'm always wrong in every situation. That is one of the reasons that I didn't come out. So one thing that I would tell people dealing with the aftermath of this problem is that start your self healing process. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself physically and mentally.
Correct.
Physically, by taking, exactly, by knowing what you're eating. I'm not saying like you have to like build muscles, but you need to take care of yourself. Your body needs that level of a little bit of exercise. Your body needs a little bit of calm, peace, therapeutic time with your family or cooking, whatever it is that makes you feel good. And for people who would, I would like, some tips to avoid that kind of situation is to follow your gut. Whenever your gut says that it's wrong, something's uncomfortable happening, get out of it, talk to someone immediately, no matter what the consequences is, because people need to understand that this can't be normalized anymore at all.
Correct.
We have
Correct.
reached to a level where it's very common. It's
Yeah.
very common to get groped on a local station.
And people even don't even realize that they've been, you know,
No,
that is
exactly.
happening around. People don't realize it.
Like I came to a point because I used to travel for work from Navi Mumbai to Bombay, and I used to
Yeah.
use the locals. And there was this one day where I, in this, you know how Mumbai locals work, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
crowded, really crowded, and I was going at a
Travel.
peak time, and at that time someone just came and groped me and went. And it was so normal for me. I came to my workplace and I said, yeah, this happened. And then I just shrugged it off and then went. And that night I realized that I have normalized it. That, maybe
Yeah.
it's okay.
Correct.
Like, this is how it works. This is how world works. Yeah.
We
So
are
this
the
is one.
one who are actually normalizing it. I feel
Exactly.
that we need to change that. That's
Exactly.
why. So tell me one thing. Why? What do you feel that organization like Sakshi's, you know, why should it